Hey, I'm Molly Sims.
And I'm Emese Gormley. We're two girls obsessed with one thing, beauty.
And by that, we mean everything that makes you look
And feel
beautiful.
We're calling on our favorite health experts, industry insiders, and friends to answer all your beauty questions.
With a drink in hand.
Definitely with a drink in hand.
You're listening to Lipstick on the Rim with Molly Sims.
All right, so every day we are bombarded with supplement ads, TikTok, wellness hacks, what's cool, what's not, people telling us what to take, what not to take, 9 different pills at breakfast or before breakfast even.
And honestly, half the time, you don't even know if it's actually doing anything.
So that's why on this episode, we kind of wanted to cut through the noise and get to the truth. What are we really supposed to be taking? So, of course, it is Lipstick on the Rim. We wanted to bring in an expert. He's a deep diver, a truth seeker, a kind of wellness whisperer. He's here to break it all down. Chervin Jafarieh. He's the founder of Cymbiotika, a revolutionary wellness brand changing the supplemental game. Chervin's not your average health founder. He's a lifelong student of both Eastern and Western medicine with deep expertise in biodynamic farming, Ayurveda, water, and soul science. He's mentored top athletes, studied under legendary health figures, and is on a mission to empower people to take control over their own health, which is what we love about him. So today we wanted to talk about what supplements do we actually need and which to skip, and how to optimize absorption, debunking some of those viral myths we're seeing all over social. And that's, I think, where it gets a little tricky because, what do you take? What do you not take? I think for us, sometimes I'll be like, okay, I'm on this regimen. And then I'm like, wait, am I taking too much? Is this even working?
Right. That's the big one.
And we loved your story, your journey into wellness, of how it really started. Will you kind of take us back of how you even got into health and wellness?
Yeah, absolutely. It's an honor to be here with you ladies and to get into the exploration of deep health. I think there's a mystery to unlock, and there's so much noise out there right now because it's become trendy that we've been overstimulated with too much information. And I think we're all unique in our own individual health, while there is some basic parameters that, span across every different sector of life and every different type of person. Maybe it's my path. It's a journey. It's the life that I chose, put me in a very unique position since day one. I grew up with immigrant parents from Iran that were, came to America in the late 70s, had me in the early 80s. And because of what was going on back in the home country, wasn't able to go back. And I come from a, long family of, holistic wellness people that were really involved with the science of modern day Iran and getting into the fabric of health and understanding how before we have anything in the economy and anything outside of that, if the society is not healthy, we're behind the 8 ball completely. And so I had a mother that was really pushing me becoming an investigator in all things life. We're having every sector of our society is failing. Mental disease is on the rise. Escapism has never been higher. We're glued to the phones. The technocratic system, AI, all of these in combination create a situation where we're literally not even in our own body. And this, you add in entertainment and, fear and anxiety and the world news cycle and political parties. It's no wonder we're in this position. And so I'm a big advocate of getting back into the earth, planting the garden. There's nothing better. You asked me about my childhood. I was planting gardens. And I was learning the hard work of creating food, not just planting a seed, but nurturing that seed and honoring it till it ripens for whatever purpose you had for it. Understanding the waxing and waning of the moon, understanding the cycles, the lunar cycles, the sun cycles, the declination of our entire system. And these things like the cosmos and the earth, these things are not woo-woo. This is a science. And Ayurveda knows it, TCM knows it, and it's part of the fabric of who we are. We've become so high in the materialism that we've lost that form of connection. And so Cymbiotika and the way that, me and my business partner, who's my childhood friend, Shahab, he's my brother, we came together to merge these worlds because he was
between Eastern and Western, right?
Between Eastern and Western. I mean, he's just the most prolific entrepreneur ever. And I'm, deep thinker, deep science, deep into bringing an understanding of these ancient traditions into the modern world. And it was just this perfect alchemy. Alchemy is a great word because when we came together, everything just clicked, and we've been able to he's my yang to I'm in the yin, and sometimes I'm the yang and he's the yin, just depending. And we've really been able to create something with intention. We met each other when we were 13 years young. He's a year older than me. He's from Orange County. I'm from San Diego. We ran in the same circles, and he called me one day about a year into Cymbiotika and said, "Hey, look, whatever you're doing, I just need to get involved." And he's like one of the only people I would trust to like build something with. And he said, "I want my 2 beautiful daughters to remember me for helping people, not for making money and doing regular entrepreneurial stuff." And it's just been an incredible ride with him, his amazing wife, our entire network and family.
And how old is Cymbiotika?
Yeah, so Cymbiotika was birthed in 2018.
Okay.
And now we are the fastest growing brand in the country by far in the space. And it's done by human contact. People are telling other people. Because
what I love, and I want you to walk us through all the supplements. I love how easy it is.
Yeah.
I love the vitamin C liposomal.
Right.
It's the only one I can swallow.
It's the only, honestly, it's the only one. I do the vitamin C, which has a little bit of a vanilla.
Yep.
And I know that sounds weird. I'm not great with texture, and I love how the packets, which I already took one, so I can't take another one. I guess I could take another one.
You can take up to 5-6 grams
I
a day.
took one this morning, and then I just took one when I was sitting here before you came. But I love how easy it is, and I love how concentrated. I'm not diluting it down with water or with any like juice or substance or fluid. I love it. I love the glutathione, which I really want you to talk about the power of glutathione and how it works with the liver and the cleansing of.
These aren't supplements. They're already in food form. To speak on what you just said, they're already ready to go. They're ready to consume. RTC. They're designed literally to mimic you getting the bioflavonoids and citrus flavonoids and the vitamin C, which comes from fermented cassava, all of the different minerals and fats and liposomes, which are encoding all the nutrients so they make it to the large intestines. They're not destroyed by the hydrochloric acid of the gut. Most vitamins and capsules and tablets, they really don't have any, it's not what you eat, it's what you can absorb. Right. And that's something very, very powerful to say. And there's a whole thing around that in terms of microbiome and all the different non-mammalian cells in the gut. We wanted to design and create food-based formulas. So your body is treating it like a food, as if there's fat and minerals and other nutrients and enzymes in there. And that's what you get with something like our vitamin C. If you look at the ingredient list on there, everything, not only is everything organic
there's
in there.
Also not a lot of ingredients.
Yeah, there's no fillers or anything, but there's everything complements each other to perfection in there.
Can you explain to our listeners, because I think a lot of people know what a liposomal vitamin C is, but then they don't really understand the difference between a traditional vitamin C
and a liposomal.
Like a powder or a pill. Like, can you explain what it actually is?
Yes. So liposomes were created in the 70s to deliver drugs. They wanted to have 100% efficacy to get a specific drug, to treat something, to create some type of reaction, to create some kind of pathway to open up. And so they wanted to create the most bioavailable delivery method. And they started looking at food, like why does food absorb so much better than just taking some powder or taking some extract? And they realized it's because the food has the intelligence around it and it has protection around it. And one of those protections is most of the nutrients are stored in fat. And fat has an intelligence on coating the nutrient so it can make its way through, down the throat, into the gut, past certain barriers, not get destroyed by the pH, right? Because we got to have low pH in there, acids to break down food, and make its way into the large intestines and ultimately through the mucin layer into the portal vein, into the liver to get dispersed throughout the body. So liposomes were created to turn efficiency to the highest level and to turn whatever drug or whatever supplement or whatever nutrient into something that the body can receive. So it's coated with a phospholipid. we use high-grade sunflower phosphatidylcholine, which is one of the most important nutrients in the world. So not only are we making liposomes with the phosphatidylcholine, but our customers, our people are able to get phospholipids and choline into their brain and into their liver. A large part of your brain is made of phosphatidylcholine. It's the scaffolding of the cell membranes of brain tissue. So it keeps the integrity of the brain, and it allows messaging and currency, which is an electric charge, to run through your synapses. Very, very important stuff with your central nervous system, your eyes, the way that your vagus nerve works. Choline is a major contributor to health. And it's starting to become popular now. We just use it to make phospholipids, aka liposomes.
We had a very brutal winter. It was long, and
She's
I feel like
East Coast.
everyone has been sick, myself included, multiple times. Would you say taking this vitamin C supplement, you said you could take up to 5 a day?
Yeah, I mean, you can take up to 4 to 6 grams a day of vitamin C.
Would you say that's a wonderful daily habit to get into to help, be preventative and protect yourself against
100%.
these viruses?
That would be a ritual, right?
A ritual.
Yeah, that would be a ritual.
Would you talk about your rituals? I mean, I want you to, I know you probably have a lot of...
You really want me to say it on
I
here?
love
No, I'm just
rituals.
kidding.
No, but I want to go through and I want to do some misconceptions, and I want to talk about sleep and hair and nails and how you kind of designed for each pillar.
Yeah.
Okay, so the vitamin C, it's easy to take.
Yep.
It's digestible.
Yep.
And it's something you can do every single day.
Absolutely.
And it works.
And it works.
Yeah. And it's just broad spectrum in terms of its effect and the results that you get. Not only are you bolstering immune system and cell function and detoxification through vitamin C pathways, but you're also introducing a lot of nutrients for collagen production. So that's why, vitamin C is the new thing with skin and hair and nails and all that stuff. Vitamin C is needed to create those proteins to produce collagen. And so everything kind of works together.
Hand in hand.
This isn't allopathic. The allopathic model to treat something to give you one angle, that's old news. That's out the window. This is completely holistic in the sense where everything in these formulas and what our offering does a multitude of things. And people are getting sick in New York during the cold, mainly because of inactivity, and not getting sunlight.
The sunlight.
And so think of...
She walked around yesterday when she got off the plane, and she was like, oh my God.
I'm just walking outside.
She was like, I'm walking outside. She had like a light, like little trench on, but she's like, I'm so happy just to be outside in the sunlight.
That's part of the ritual every rise, outside as the sun is coming from the east. I'm outside in my backyard naked on the earth and getting 25, 30 minutes of full sun exposure in my eyes, all over my body. This is photobiomodulation. This is actually turning on melatonin production, serotonin, dopamine.
You start your day like that every day?
Every day, yeah. And this is my circadian hygiene,
What time do you wake up in the morning?
5:45. Yeah, 5:45. And this time of year, 6:15 during the winter, like around November, December, it starts moving around a little bit. I have no alarm. This is what's setting myself up for the day. Everyone asks me, how do I go to sleep? What's my method? Well, it starts first thing on the rise.
Right.
You can't have one without the other. It's like chicken or the egg. Getting outside, getting sunlight, hydrated on the rise, feet on the earth, sunlight on your body, a little bit of movement, a little bit of breath before touching that radioactive device. All of those things are imperative to preventing weird pathologies to start forming in your body. This whole autoimmune craze, all of this stuff is literally just a matter of not being in the right clock. We're so out of alignment with our environment. And because we're in a material world and we're in these buildings with artificial light, that's why I'm wearing my blue blockers right now. And we're controlling the temperature. We're controlling so many things. We're not practicing something called hormesis. Hormesis is a hormetic code. That which does not kill you makes you stronger. Mm-hmm. And we weren't designed to be sitting in front of a screen, in cars, temperature guided, blue lights, getting hit with bandwidth of Wi-Fi, EMF, all these non-native electromagnetic frequencies. We're completely disturbed as a society. And so my advice to someone who's working 9 to 5 and they could be hearing me say all this, well, great, this is really difficult for me. You got to make a choice. You can continue to be a victim to your situation, or you can say, F it, I'm going to figure out something and break free of this. And at least start, sharpening the blade, at least like little things every single day.
Yeah. Invest in yourself, invest in you, right?
Absolutely.
Like take the walk. Like, whenever I'm like stressed lately, I'm like, okay, I'm just going to take a walk.
Yeah. Movement goes along with sunlight, like the amount of stress we're putting on our body, like the whole sarcopenia thing and osteoporosis, but just lack of movement, not getting the lymph and kidney engaged and being sedentary, what it's doing to our bones, what it's doing to our organs, what it's doing to our mitochondria. That's a whole deep rabbit hole getting into it really comes down to mitochondria. Most of our products, including the glutathione and some of the compounds in there, are directly for mitochondrial health. Everything we're talking about starts at the battery pack of the cell, which is the energy and the organelles. And we're having so much mitochondrial damage. As soon as mitochondria starts leaking out because of all the things we're talking about right now, then that immediately turns into a reactive oxygen species, which is an oxidative stress. And that becomes inflammation. And then inflammation then turns into autoimmune. Your pituitary, thyroid, hypothalamus there's confusion. Now you're burdened with toxins because your body isn't functioning properly. You're not sweating properly. And we're breathing in so much craziness in the atmosphere. There's so much, the toxins in our water supply, just that alone. I don't know if you guys follow me, but during this whole LA fire things, I was doing, huge PSAs on what to do and what not to do and how to really go about that.
Do not drink that water unless it's filtered or not.
No, I wouldn't even go that route. I bathe in filtered water, but you should only be drinking spring water.
I have a question for you with regards to sleep, because I think one of the most common themes that we have with every episode, whenever we talk to a doctor or an expert, I am a different person when I get real true sleep. And I have started to take supplements. I've been very open on this podcast. I went through a phase where I was taking Xanax to be able to sleep because I would just start to mentally be on this hamster wheel and I couldn't fall asleep. And then I'd be like, oh my God, now it's 1 a.m. But I would love to hear from you kind of what your tips are. Can you talk us through that?
Obviously, sleep hygiene is everything because sleep is actually where we detoxify. Most people don't understand that sleep is where the body cleanses itself. The body goes through a very interesting step that's calculated through your digestive system, then ultimately makes its way into the lungs and then makes its way into the brain. And if you're going to sleep, for example, with a full stomach, your body is not able to actually go into rapid eye movement properly, and then ultimately into the deep sleep delta phase. And most people's heart rate variability, their HRV, is reflective of that. And it's very low, which means the body's never getting into a parasympathetic state to rejuvenate. And so there's many things with sleep. I don't like calling them hacks. It's just foundational health. First thing on the rise, get in the sun. You cannot produce melatonin at night if you're not getting sunlight during the rising hour. And it has to get on your skin and it has to get into your eyes. Sunlight and light therapy and understanding light might be the most crucial. Number 2 is your hygiene with light later on in the day. If it's 5, 6 o'clock, 7 o'clock, the sun is making its declination. If you're just bombarded with non-native blue lights and artificial lights and LED stuff, which is extremely toxic to the human body and causing oxidative stress, your body does not know that it's time to sleep. Have you guys ever camped and been around a fire?
Yeah.
How sleepy do you get after a fire?
Oh my God, so sleepy. I love a fire.
Well, the fire is unleashing certain specific nanometers of light and infrared. And that's calming the nervous system down and telling the bodies to create melatonin.
My husband likes to have a fire every night.
I love.
We're creatures of light.
What do you
therapies.
think of melatonin?
I think endogenous production of melatonin is the ticket. And things like magnesium and sunlight help create the body's own production of melatonin. I'm not a big fan of supplementing with melatonin, but I'll supplement with melatonin before I supplement with Xanax. Right?
Yeah.
Cells cannot communicate without magnesium. It's a cofactor. Like, so each mineral has a subatomic charge. It's so interesting when you really think about the science and the magic around it. Every single copper, zinc, some of the more stranger ones like lithium, all these other ones, they have a subatomic charge, and they all do a specific action in our earth and in our body. Magnesium is what allows our cells to communicate. And so without a certain capacity or load factor of magnesium in our body, our cells cannot communicate. And it's the discommunication which causes all the problems. And magnesium is literally like our safeguard against stress overload. So every time you're under cortisol bath or you're constantly under the fire, your magnesium storages are dropping tremendously. And because of,
probably what you felt, all the stress, all the fight or flight, like all your magnesium levels were dropping out.
Completely depleted.
Do we lose magnesium as we age, or that has nothing to do with it?
No, sure, it can. It's just because we're not eating real food anymore. Our soils are shot. Industrial revolution destroyed medium chain farms, so the hydrological cycle is gone. So no soil has actual biotics and minerals. And before we'd be getting it from the foods, our food, there's no magnesium in our foods anymore, unless you're a horticulturist and you're doing your own soil prep. So we have to get it through supplementation. So I bathe in magnesium. We have our topical magnesium spray.
Will you talk about your topical magnesium spray?
Absolutely. It's one of my favorite supplements. We have obviously DMSO in there, dimethyl sulfoxide, which is, that's a Cymbiotika thing. Like, that takes anything on the surface and puts it transdermally into the body. And we source a very rare form of magnesium chloride, and we got some other compounds in there. It's just a phenomenal way to get magnesium into the muscles. And then when you take our liposomal form, you're getting another version. So you really can't get enough magnesium, especially if you live a normal, regular life that everyone else is doing it, So I highly recommend.
Do you think there's probably like a magnesium, if one were to do a panel of 100 people, would you say that most people are magnesium deficient?
I'd say 99.98. So maybe 1,000. Everyone's deficient. I'm probably even deficient in it. That's how full on magnesium is, and the burn rate of magnesium. It literally burns like kerosene.
I didn't know that.
I had no idea.
Yeah.
And what are the differences? Because there's magnesium, there's magnesium glycinate. Yeah. What is that?
That's what I take.
Glycine is attached to glycine, and glycine's an amino acid. And glycine is very sedative and very calming. It's part of, our skin. It's part of certain tripeptides. I'll just leak it out here. We have a new magnesium coming. It's got 3 forms in it.
When is that coming out? When is that coming out?
It's coming out in the next couple of months. Oof. And it's got bisglycinate in it, which is the scientific way of saying glycine.
Okay.
And it's got 2 other forms in there. I'm very, very excited.
Can you take it during the day, or you prefer to take it at night?
You can take magnesium anytime. That's the key.
I thought you had to take it at night.
I thought you had to take it at night.
No. That's just because weird social media stuff is telling you, oh, this is calming. Magnesium's good for brain. It's good for energy production. It's good for
muscle
everything.
Recovery,
everything,
bowel movements.
Cardiovascular, all that.
It's great for your bowels.
Yeah, I've noticed a huge difference since I've been taking it.
As you should. I'm soaking in magnesium.
I do the spray on my feet.
Good. Spray on your feet, spray on your chest, spray on your shoulders, on your quads, all your big muscles. That's where you want to spray magnesium, because that's the fastest way of getting it into the blood.
When you talk about glutathione,
it aids the liver in repairing itself. Okay. It takes the burden off the liver. The liver is by far the most versatile and critical organ in the human body. Now, of course, you remove our heart, we're not functioning, right? The heart controls the electrical system and the pump, but it's the liver that does the most work. It's the liver that's the most neglected. The rates on non-alcoholic fatty liver disease right now are extraordinary. The amount of people in metabolic diseases that are going into different forms of diabetes and having insulin problems, it's all liver related. And so we have neglected our livers, and the liver is also where we store all our anger and frustration. In traditional Chinese medicine, they've measured this through meridian points. And so I can kind of see it. You can see it in people. You can feel it on their frequency. And so anything that we can do to support our liver function will radically evolve your health. So just think okay, my liver's been taking care of me. It's time for me to take care of my liver. It's time for me to really nourish it. And so glutathione is produced mainly in the liver. It's an endogenous tripeptide that's produced to chelate compounds out of the body, metabolic things that build up, toxins from the environment, reactive oxygen species, so basically free radicals, mold, things like Lyme and co-infections and all this crazy stuff. It's glutathione that helps bind to it. So chelation is a process of binding it and then moving it out of the body. And so we have a liposomal form of glutathione with PQQ and CoQ10. These are also mitochondrial boosters that really come together in this like perfect alchemy. So think of glutathione as not only detoxifying you, but aiding your body in rehabilitating every cellular function from brain all the way down to your feet. And in the side effect of that is more energy, more clarity, better skin, better sleep.
What do you take every day?
Yeah, we have quite a bit in our portfolio. I obviously don't take all of them every day.
No.
Right. So the foundational ones for me, a lot of them are here right now. I definitely take vitamin C 2 to 3 times a day. I take glutathione sometimes 2-3 times a day. But the way I approach it is just like how everyone asks me like about my diet and food. Your lifestyle dictates how you eat. So for example, someone who's like out in nature, farming all day long and moving 25,000 steps and is carrying a big load, their diet needs to reflect that.
Right.
Someone who's sedentary and not moving and, whatever, you can't have that load factor on your caloric intake. It's the same thing the way I'm strategic with my supplements, So if I'm under a lot more stress, I'm adding a little bit more glutathione to it. I'm adding a little bit more magnesium to it, a little bit more vitamin C. If I'm traveling, I'm getting in these airplanes, which are a complete disaster in so many ways, going through airports, all that stuff. I know what my body needs and I'm helping it. I'm preventative with it. And I'm also like just really present to what they're doing for me. And I'm not just taking it. And that's something we're really big about at Cymbiotika. We really want people to fully grasp what these products are. We don't want it. We don't offer them fear-based or it's cool. It's like, come on, let's take it up a notch. You owe it to yourself. Like nobody's coming to save you. Like that whole thing, that's out the window. Let's stand in our power. Let's stand in our truth. Let's understand these things. You have now God in your phone. You can chat, AI, whatever, anything, learn about what these things are and let your discernment kick in and then make the decision. I promise it'll be the best outcome.
It's hard. The supplemental space it's
kamikaze.
It's
crazy
right now.
Yeah, I agree.
And how do you think Cymbiotika has rose to the top? Because
through this, everything I just mentioned,
right.
The foundations and not cheating the customer and not backing into a formula because of margins and pushing the envelope, not waiting for someone else to do it. We're trailblazing formulas right now. You should see what we have coming.
I'm so excited.
We have incredible people. Everyone's all in. And for my part to play, I get to work with some of the most brilliant people and design and create things that have never been done before. So I'm literally living out my dream.
Well, I love that you cocktail it a little bit as well. So you're not just getting magnesium, you're just not getting glutathione, you're just not getting the cocktail version. So you're not taking 50 things.
They have to.
I know.
Because they all potentiate each other.
What does that mean?
That means that so when we put, if you look at our glutathione, there's 4 main actives in there. You have the CoQ10, the PQQ, you have the glutathione, and then there's 7 other compounds in there that make up the phospholipid. All those come together to create an epic alchemy or potentiation. They all work towards an end goal. So you're not in these like isolated forms. Some of our products have 17, 18 compounds in there. We're not talking about filler weird things. And I want to say this too. We don't use any toxic preservative system. We don't use natural flavors, which is a hoax.
It's a hoax.
Yeah.
We don't do any.
We talk about that really quickly.
It's just
look on the back. Look on the back
we're only using
of the package.
Organic fruit terpenes, terpenoids. Terpenes are the expression or the essence of a plant, flower, fruit. It's the essence. When you have that vitamin C, that's because you're having true organic navel orange terpenes. This is
It tastes so good.
Yeah, because that's the real essence. It's not easy to do this, especially in our position, but there was no other option because these things matter.
Now, let's talk about green powders, because I think there's a lot of people that take their greens and they're like, I'm getting my great dosage of all my daily greens in one thing. Do you think they're helpful, or they just are expensive hype?
Honestly, I'll do it. I'll say it like this. If someone is eating toxic food, fast food, fried food, trans fats, sodas, strange coffees, then all of a sudden they start drinking celery juice for 2 weeks, they're going to feel better. It's just as simple as that. That will help you. But is that long-term health? Is that supporting your nervous system, your brain,
adrenals,
your body, your power, your integrity, your joints, your bone marrow? Of course not. Those are short-term fixes for, a lifetime of, eating and having a toxic body buildup. Green powders can be useful to certain people, but they're not sustainable long-term, in my opinion. They're not something that you're just getting it in and you're going to feel good that this is it. No, the green powder is, and that's also, let's get very specific. What are we talking about? We're talking about spirulina. We're talking about chlorophyll. What are we talking about exactly?
Well, they just say, it's all of a sudden it's like green superfood, green
take your daily greens, or whatever it is.
You don't even know what it is.
Nonsense. In my opinion, it's nonsense. Yeah. It's maybe making someone feel good about themselves while missing the entire boat, in my opinion.
Are gummies ever a good delivery system?
No, they're not. You can't have specific load factors in gummies, so you're only getting like a micro dosage, if anything at all. And some of the weird stuff, even if it's not sugar in there and they're using like some other, sugar alcohol or whatever, it's like, what are we doing, people?
I know.
And if you're giving your kids, vitamin gummies, you're already screwing with their nervous system, their neuroreceptive, and their physiology. You're telling them that it has to be this like sweet candy. And that's just that in itself is not causing a good plan moving forward with their life.
And what's your response to people who say, just eat healthy whole foods instead of taking any type of supplement?
I would agree with them.
If you could find the whole food.
The food has become a fringe commodity.
Yeah.
It really has. Everyone asks me like, what's my lifestyle? How do I eat? I'm a qualitarian. If you go on my social media, you'll see qualitarian. So I try my hardest while living in Southern California to eat the highest quality foods. But I also know that even in my position of the experience that I have and the connections that I have, I know I'm behind the 8 ball a little bit because it's really difficult to get high, super quality food unless you're growing it yourself or you're supporting a local medium-sized farm. And that's kind of what I do. I mean, I get stuff shipped to me from the Amish. I have farms in the Midwest that send me stuff as well. When I'm on our farm on the islands, I'm eating like a frugivore pretty much. I'm eating, tropical fruit that we grow. Yeah. But that's also seasonal too. Like we're not in our seasonal eating. Like we're supposed to have a cycle of our foods. The summertime calls for different types of foods. When you start
the best tomatoes. Yeah. And down in Laguna Beach, our cherry tomatoes are stoked, and I'm a seasonal eater. I know like when I need to have more energy, and I know when I'm also going into hibernation mode. Foods change with the season, and we should be on top of that. But Cymbiotika was literally created to create impact where we weren't getting our nutrition. It was literally like, how do we do this where we can bring them something that everyone can get involved with? They can get a complex form, food form, trusted raw materials, built with intention and integrity, and have a nice experience in the process too. It is a nice experience. I love your boxes. You take them off, you can cut them in half, then you just have your package.
And travel with them too.
Yeah, you can travel, but it's very easy to use. And at first I'm going to be really honest, the liquid part, I'm like not used to taking supplements in a liquid And then you just kind of get used to it.
That's right. Yeah.
Right.
You just adopt it.
You just kind of adapt to it, adapt to it and adopt it.
Yeah.
What's if someone's, listening right now and they're like, I want to try one of these supplements. What would you say is like the best starter supplement for them to take with you guys?
Who's the person?
A mom, a tired mom. It's a 40-something-year-old woman.
Get her on the glutathione.
Glutathione.
Yeah, get her on the glutathione. It's the most versatile.
What is the biggest myth about supplements you'd love to debunk once and for all?
Multivitamins. I mean, multivitamins are atrocious, and it goes back into the same thing with the green powders, where they're literally, it's like everything in the kitchen. Like, let's just throw it all into one, and that the body does not respond to that. You can't have 7 different types of nutrients and 50 different types of greens and 20 different types of probiotics and 10 different types of fibers and inulin and chlorophyll and spirulina. It's just too much for the body to understand. The body has to receive information. Food is information. It's taking on something like something we have to click in our mind to understand that the body receives information from food. That's why they're in specific formations. That's where the word information came from, right? Okay. Information. And so if you're taking a multivitamin that's got 40 ingredients in it, or a greens powder that's got 100 ingredients in it, because it's just trying to get you everything under the sun in the kitchen, your body's having a real trouble figuring out what to do with all that. Then you have liver issues and kidney issues. And everyone's already kind of running on a little bit low voltage liver, and kidney issues are real today.
Have you always been interested in wellness?
I have. Yeah, since day one. I was the kid that was screaming at my friends' parents that were giving their kids like pasteurized, homogenized antibiotic milk. And I remember telling them, like, this is why you can't get through to him, because he's on this weird material that's causing a whole cataclysmic event. I was like 12 years old in those conversations. I was mentored really early by one of the leading authorities in the world on raw food nutrition. And this is my cousin. And so I learned a lot of these things. And
we did raw milk when they were younger.
Oh, great. Raw milk is a superfood. It's a medicine. It's divine. It's part of the colostrum.
What do you feel in terms of, now we have cashew milk, now we have almond milk, now we have oat milk? What do you think of all of that?
Disaster.
It's all synthetics, disaster. Right? Like it's fillers.
Yeah, it's just super acidic. It's real tough on the kidneys. There's really no nutrition there, so it's more for just mouthfeel, right? A lot of phytic acid. Look, if you want to make your own and make like sprout your own and do all that stuff, I think there's something cool about doing it with your kids and making something, right? Energetically, there's something to that. But just going and picking it up at the store and substituting it for X, that's not it. That's not going to.
I think what's crazy, and I know we have to get to rapid fire, are these crazy drinks.
Yeah.
Give me an example. You're talking about like energy drinks?
Like an oat milk with 2 pumps of vanilla and 3 pumps.
Sugar bombs.
That's not vanilla.
Or whatever. But sugar it's bombs. Just crazy. Or on the flip side, to your point, we have these energy drinks.
Oh, people have strokes. I mean, these things are gnarly. These things are putting you into
because the amount of caffeine, right?
Everything about it is toxic. Caffeine is just one part of it. They have other things in there too that just put the body into complete stress. And these are people that are already stressed.
Yeah.
Yeah. So the body just taps out. We're electrical. Our entire nervous system runs on electricity. And so if you pump all these things, the electrical current burns out.
We're going to get to rapid fire.
Okay.
Morning non-negotiable.
Molecular hydrogen with my spring water.
Love it.
Are you on our molecular hydrogen?
No, what is that?
That's a whole interview in itself. It's the smallest and most prevalent antioxidant in the world. It's hydrogen.
How do you get it?
We sell molecular hydrogen.
Oh,
which creates a concentrate in your water.
How do I not know
it's
about
part
this?
of my everyday. I did 2 today.
Molecular. Okay.
There's thousands of peer-reviewed published studies on it. And
every day.
And
molecular hydration. That's what it's called.
Molecular hydrogen.
Hydrogen.
Okay. Yeah. What's the most underrated wellness practice?
Jumping on a rebounder.
Really?
It's so good for you, isn't it?
It's unbelievable.
It's like a trampoline.
The mini trampoline.
Yeah, I have
It's
one.
creating a gyration. So it opens up your lymph nodes and gets a lot of the fluids moving.
Trampoline.
Yeah. 15 minutes a day, like consistently and like at a nice static movement really opens up. And you pair it with the infrared sauna and something like our charcoal product and our
I love your
molecular
charcoal
hydrogen.
product.
Yeah.
I take your charcoal product when I travel.
Genius. You got to have charcoal and molecular hydrogen on flights.
Health trend that drives you crazy.
Everything. I mean, everything on social media for the most part is just a complete disaster. Anything that's fear-based, I have a problem with.
If you weren't doing this, what would you be doing?
I'd be 100% on the farm, growing food and having a worldwide apothecary.
What's your favorite guilty pleasure snack or treat?
Gelato.
Love.
Yeah, like a coffee hazelnut gelato. Maybe like twice a year I'll hit it.
Most interesting thing, and you learn a lot, clearly. Most interesting thing you've learned recently?
I've been going down the menopause rabbit hole.
Oh, great. Well, I've just
We'll
had
have
2
to have you
hot
back.
flashes since you've been here. If you have anything for hot flashes, let me know.
We really do. And we're working on it right now. And we have a really epic team around this.
What's on your bedside table?
Molecular hydrogen and sea salt and a candle and my Rudolf Steiner books.
Love. Are you a caller, texter, FaceTimer?
I am, depends. Depends on the situation. I prefer to call. Yeah.
What's something you can't live without?
Love in my heart.
Oh,
We always ask every guest before they go, if you could give your advice to your 10-year-old self, what would it be?
Keep staying in your truth. Don't let anything or any circumstance violate what you intuitively know. And go all in.
you're amazing.
You're
And what you
amazing, Chervin. You're
built is
amazing.
amazing.
What you've built
You guys
is
are
amazing.
amazing.
I love
these
it.
are epic questions. I love the dialogue.
It's so
I'm your
great.
brother. I'm your brother for life. I got your back. This is family.
Okay, so here's what Chervin is doing for us. Cymbiotika.com/lipstick. You guys are getting 20% off your order plus free shipping. I'm going to say it again. Cymbiotika.com/lipstick. He's giving you 20% off your order plus free shipping. Follow it at Cymbiotika, Cymbiotika, and make sure and follow you. You're amazing, Chervin. CHERVIN 333. CHERVIN 333. You're a wealth of knowledge and information. And I love that you haven't overcomplicated it, because sometimes it
becomes overwhelming.
It becomes
Totally
overwhelming,
agree. Yeah.
right? Like, I love your packaging. I love the simpleness of it. I love that for me, I'm not gagging down. I'm just going to be really honest with you. I'm not gagging down 27 pills.
Yeah.
And I also, we talk about, I have a skincare company. It's like the magic is the consistency.
Yeah.
And the consistency is where you really benefit. And I think if whatever you do, if you take your vitamin C or your glutathione or your magnesium, like to what, Chervin said, take a hold of your own path. Be in your own, be your best advocate. Take it. Do the things that, and I think when you do it, it does pay off, right? Even if it's taking supplements, getting up in the morning, getting sun, getting out of crazy artificial lights all day.
Absolutely. How you do anything is how you do everything. And the reward system that your body provides you and the cues it sends, because when you're not treating your body right, you get a sharp pain, you get an irregular heartbeat, you're not able to sleep, all things, your body's talking to you. All of a sudden you sweat, all of a sudden you break out in a rash.
We were talking about her neck earlier, and it comes and goes.
Yeah.
And she thinks
so
it's totally stress.
That could be an emotional thing, right?
It's stress. I know it's what I carry all my stress in my neck.
Right.
Like that's for sure.
So then I would beg you to go deeper into that statement. So it's coming from stress. So let's go into that and figure out, what does that mean exactly to you? And maybe it just means that you need to sit down and write it all out and just pour it all out. And then from there, start navigating through it, because we can get to the root. You know, we don't need to mask anything anymore.
Yeah.
The more we're masking stuff, the more we're heading towards that cliff.
Yeah.
You know, and at some point, you know, we're in biological bodies. We're carbon-based beings. It can only handle so much. And we gotta step forward now. This isn't something to put off next summer or next holiday. This whole calendar system's ridiculous. We got to really be present in the now. And that's the best thing I can offer anyone.
You're amazing. Okay, Cymbiotika.com lipstick, 20% off. You guys are going to get it. I'm so excited. Thank you for doing that.
Thank you for being here.
And our listeners, I really appreciate it. And, you know, owning a company ourselves and giving these big discounts, they're big and I'm glad, and thank you for doing it, because we have really an incredible community of listeners, and
they're always looking to sell.
Oh my God. They're so
amazing
loyal
things from my team.
and they want to know everything, but you know, it's what we say, you know, we're not gatekeepers. So we try to keep it honest and open, and, you know, what do we really do and what do we not do? And I think, I think your company is really, really strong, and I think you've got good things ahead.
We have an amazing team. Everyone's all in, and everyone's hearts in. So it's been incredible.
You're by my stove, all my stuff.
Thank you so much.
All right, thank you guys. We will see you next week.
See you next week.
Thanks for listening to Lipstick on the Rim with Molly Sims and my ride or die, Emese Gormley. We are so excited to bring you guys along on this journey with us. You can find us on Instagram and TikTok at Lipstick on the Rim and at Molly B. Sims. Or you can go to my blog where you can dive just a little bit deeper into my favorite products, trends, and more at mollysims.substack.com. And don't forget to check out our video episodes on my YouTube channel, Molly Sims. This podcast is a production with Sony Music. I wanted to give a special thanks to my team, Rosie Cummings, Kenna Ryan, Sophine Kevorkian, and everyone at Sony Music. Don't forget to listen and follow wherever you get your podcasts so you never miss out on the fun.